Uncial was the 3rd century to the 8th century, and it leaked in and got used a lot because they are closely related to Romans, which leaked in and got used a lot. They are 4 pen widths high. So if you hold your pen at a 90-degree angle to the baseline and pull it parallel to the baseline, you make the thickest stroke your pen can make. If you hold your pen at a 0-degree angle to the baseline and pull down, you make the thickest stroke you can make. The uncial letters are a pen angle of 20 to 30 degrees, which is, if you cut 2 squares and half that, you're not going to go past steeper than that line. So the angle your pen makes with the baseline is called the pen angle, and you want it between 20 and 30 degrees. The O is the mother of the alphabet. So she informs what the rest of the letters will look like, and because uncial is closely related to Roman, she is round, much like the Roman O, with this lemon counter space on a tilt. That means that your entrance stroke will have a round, like the mother, negative space or counter space. So with your pen angle at a 30 to 20, start just below, come up, nice and round counter space, come down, and then slightly curve over to the left and stop. We're making a B. Start back in your stem in your ink with your 30-degree pen angle below the X height, so you can come up and out and kiss and out and close it at that thin. This white space right here that you're creating, you want it to carry across all the letters that will have this same branch. The B is related to the Roman, so it is narrower than the O, and it has this top bowl is just above the mid point of the X height. With a serif, there are a couple different ways to do the serif. This is the way that I am most successful. 30-degree pen angle, start below where I want, slide up at the thin, pierce my X height, and then come down straight and stop at the thin. And I come back up into it to create my top bowl, my bottom bowl, and then come back, and with only the left part of your nib, fill in that bird beak space, but make sure that you retain that nice round counter space. When you are writing your letters, you will either have this entrance stroke or this serif. You won't combine these starting points in one piece of writing unless there's a reason for it, but there isn't a reason for it. Doing this 2-stroke serif is more successful using a really opaque writing fluid like gouache or Moon Palace, Sumi, or even Higgins Eternal. But this 4001, Pelikan 4001 or the Walnut Ink show all your strokes because it's more transparent. Because we just did these beautiful B's, let's do a D. Come down and pause and come out. The D in Roman is a wide letter, so it will be a wide letter in Uncial. And the reason why you don't have as much of this curve here in the D as you do in the B is because it ends up reading like an O. And you don't, legibility is your goal. With the serif, here we go. Pierce, down, pause, and over to my thin. Come back into the weight, the stem, bulge, and thin. Then with the left part of my nib, I fill in that second stroke of the serif. If you have your whole nib touching the paper, you will most likely break the line on this right hand side, and then all that effort you put into making this nice straight downstroke gets a wobbly line from your serif entrance. Okay, let's go back to the C. Remember, O informs all of her daughter letters. So our first stroke will be exactly like the O. We start below the X height, come out and bulge, the bottom bulge, and stop when you get to the thin. Then, because part of the mother is missing here, the C does not come out and touch both the ends of the square. It's going to be slightly short because we shaved off this part of the O. We start back up in the ink with our 30-degree pen angle, come up and then pull it horizontally until your right corner of your nib is above this thin. If it is too short, it will look like it's tilting this way. If it's too long, it will look like it's tilting the other way. And if you try to curve this stroke, it will look closed off and be harder to read. The pen angle is what creates this curve right here on the underside of the line. You really are just coming up and then pulling straight across. The uncial D, or the round D, you'll start slightly lower than you did for the O and come down and bulge and stop when you get to the thin. The reason is you're going to be creating an ascender. Uncial is a majuscule alphabet. It's an uppercase alphabet, but it has ascenders and descenders. So don't go crazy with them. Don't make them too tall. Don't ever go above 2 pen widths or below 2 pen widths, because it will start looking like a minuscule alphabet. And what I want you to do is, with your 30-degree pen angle, just to the left of the roundest part of your first stroke, place it and then come straight, and then start to curve like that mother O. If you can get this ascender nice and straight before you start making your round, I got a little wide here because I was focusing on making this straight. So my thin is too long here, and my lemon is a little thrown off. But if you can make this stroke nice and straight, then you can start to give it a little bit more character. Start below where you would start the C, come out and bulge, and stop when you get to the thin. Start slightly above where you want to be, then come down at a hairline, and then straight, 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 and then finish your O. Okay, if you have this ascender 2 in the center, it will look like a quail and be funny. So you always want it pretty flat and to the left of the letter for the D. Okay, click on to the next video for the rest of the letters.